Yo, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a great weekend, enjoying their Saturday and everything as it comes to an end. And glad you're jumping on with your boys, the Left Fresh Podcast. If you all jumping on for the first time, I want to encourage you all to subscribe, like, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend. Happy to have you. Those who are regulars know what time it is. Like I said, hope you all having a great weekend. Ready to get into some hip hop stuff, talk about some good content here. Um, you can find me on Instagram at This Is Left Fresh. You can find me on TikTok at This Is Left Fresh. But yeah, let's get it going, man. Without further delay, got some good content lined up for you all. Got to talk about a tragic passing in the hip hop community, and taking the time out to appreciate the work and contributions of um, the late producer Tay Keith, who passed away, 29 years old. I'm gonna get into that a little later on in the episode. Got some new releases as well. Coming back to a release that came out about 2 weeks ago. I was unable to present that because my Knicks were busy winning 2 Saturdays ago. So the past Saturday, so I was unable to jump on with you all. And of course, if you're under a rock, my Knicks won, but I'm not going to keep bragging about that. Get into the hip hop and everything like that. Like I said, new releases and everything. We'll get into that later on tonight. A little more of an underground renaissance. Nothing really mainstream. It's pretty much came out this weekend. But yeah, we did get some good hip hop and underground renaissance aspect of hip hop. So get into that a little later. But yeah, first thing we're gonna do just to get things started up, get things warmed up. I got a list. Normally, I do this thing where I just kind of see lists online and on panels, pages, sites. They got best so and so, whatever like that. And normally I scroll past more than I actually entertain, believe it or not. But a lot of these kind of just open up the good, engagement or just does what it's supposed to do. So got my attention. And it was a good one to get my attention, and I think I came across one that people can deliberate about. You can jump in the chat, jump in the comments, and let everybody know how you feel about this list right here or what you think should be the right entry for it. This particular list is going to be best Atlanta songs from 1992 to 2022. Not sure why 2022 is the exact cutoff mark. Maybe looks like a fairly new list, but I haven't seen it in rotation. But it's interesting for kind of look back and revisit. Like I said, the city of Atlanta's produced so much hip hop over the past 30 plus years, along with many other hip hop cities that this is interesting to revisit. Like I said, the best songs from the year 1992 to 2022. I know that print's a little bit small. I can read through it though, kind of just see where everybody's at with it, and then you see the honorable mentions below. But yeah, start from the first of the list. Let's get through. It's like 30 plus years, so we got time. 1992, Crisscross. Yeah, well, it was extremely commercial. I'll say that. I mean, as far as all over the place, yeah, Crisscross is probably a big universal commercial song. Period. Not just an Atlanta song. I don't know if Atlanta really took to that as its own. I think it was just a commercial song by two artists that happened to come out of Atlanta. That's just my personal take on it. But, like I said, I can understand the impact of it. Jump, jump had everybody jumping, wearing their clothes backwards and, all that good stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was commercial as it gets. 1993, Whoop, there it is, tag team. I can agree to that. I think Atlanta was like huge in the bass music part of its era during that time. And Whoop, there it is was another song that was just everywhere. I mean, it was just commercial as commercial can get. Really, Atlanta really been commercial for a long time. There's a lot of dance songs, a lot of bass music, a lot of club bangers and stuff like that all throughout time. It's just transcended. That's just Atlanta history, rich history of just club bangers and stuff. So I mean, a lot of this list is not going to be like your legendary hip hop artist. It's probably going to be a local, a regional act, or even a one hit wonder. But he had that one song for that one song that just hit. And I mean, in Atlanta, that you can do that in Atlanta. You can have that one song, that one maybe that one song, it just strikes. And like, yeah, whoop, there it is. Was like the beginning of that. That song that just became a craze. Like I remember it got commercials on countdowns and everything like that. It wasn't just some, back of the trunk, local song and everything like that. It was all over syndicated television. So Yeah, Whoop, there it is. That's really kind of hard to argue. But at least 1993 coming out of Atlanta. 1994 Players Ball, Outcast, another one. You really can't debate that too much. Um, and Kilo Ali era, there we go, 1997. There we go. Yeah. All right, we'll get to that then. Yeah, Cell Therapy, Goody Mob in 1995. What's Up, Player Poncho and LA Snow. Yeah, the Bankhead Bounce in 96. Yeah, I think that was, yeah, like especially in the like actual ecosystem of Atlanta and the South and the regional area. Yeah, I can't really debate these songs. Yeah, somebody coming off, somebody starting off hot. Whoever made this list, this is like an anonymous list to me. I don't really see too much. I don't see an actual credit in on here like most lists. It's not like complex or panel or anything. But yeah, whoever did this was pretty tapped in to begin with. I haven't really got much debate since up to this point. Yeah, What's up, Baby by Kilo Ali. Most beautiful girl in the world, Raheem the Dream. Like, I can't really debate a lot of these songs. I mean, 97, that could be debatable. I mean, you could probably think of an Outcast. I don't think Outcast came out that year, probably 2 years ago. It's probably in that gap. But yeah, I can debate that. 1999, I'm not debating this at all. 1999, it got so much better after Whoop There It Is. Thank God. What up, Organized Chaos? Yeah. I mean, Whoop There It Is was everywhere. I mean, everywhere. But yeah, Atlanta really started picking up, man. It was like Whoop There It Is. Jump. Yeah, if Jump was probably the biggest song at that time. It was really in the humble beginning. Yeah, Whoop There It Is. Players Ball, Outcast. That's when it really started striking up there. And Outcast was really playing with matches at that point. It was really starting to cook. Yeah. Cell Therapy, What's Up, Baby. Uh, oh yeah, no elevators. That's the debatable one right there. What's up, with elevators? Because I mean, like I said, it could be in Atlanta. It's like Wild Wild West. I mean, it could be a dude that it could be an artist that's like local as local could be, can have the best song in the city in Atlanta. It's like Wild Wild West out here. I mean, the most commercial act can get out can get that one song, can't outshine that one local song in Atlanta, man. Y'all all know that, man. If you in Atlanta, you used to go to the clubs, especially in the 2000s, man. It'd be a dude you probably never hear from again. I had the hottest song in Atlanta. I mean, no more playing GA. Yeah, I'm not debating that one. 1999, Pastor Troy. Listen, I don't know any. Is there a song in 1999 that we can argue that was harder than No More Playing GA by Pastor Troy? I mean, that was like a national. That's like a national anthem at this point. That's like an Atlanta national anthem. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything you can really put up against that one. That came up. I mean, and then in 2000, East Side versus West Side, Baby D. Yeah. Hey, whoever playing it, hey, listen. whoever, whoever came up with this list cooking right now, man. I'm saying they got the hot hand right now. I mean, they on fire. They have not missed. Oh yeah, B Rock and Biz, Baby Daddy. Yeah, that's another honorable mention right there, man. Yeah, that is definitely it. Yeah, and Diamond featuring D Rock, Bankhead Bounce is an honorable mention on there too. Yeah. Oof Cap. Oof Cap. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Baby D, that listen, you couldn't play that at certain house parties. Like East Side versus West Side was like another one. That was like a literally started a civil war, man. Like you had to be down here to understand. Like I moved down here too. Like I was like an original transplant, man. You'd be at house parties against the wall, like neutral, watching two sides just go at it in warfare. It was crazy. Like Baby D's verse come on, and then Lil Jon verse, and it's like, yeah, it's chaos. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I can't really debate almost anything. Yeah, Baby Daddy was a good mention too, though. I mean, that was everywhere as well. But inside of Atlanta, I mean, a lot of these songs really are good selections. I mean, all the way to the 2000s. And then even vice versa in 2001, yeah, Pastor Troy had to give Pastor Troy them flowers, man, because I mean, that late 2000, early 2000, Pastor Troy had thing on smash. Pastor Troy had Atlanta in a headlock, chokehold, camel clutch, all type of maneuvers. And then officially in 2002, Get Low, Lil Jon with the Yin Yang Twins. This can be a little bit debatable because I mean, by 2002, there was a lot of variety at this point. And Lil Jon had a couple of songs out by this point. And then I mean, was it like Ludacris out by this time? Yeah, PT. Yeah, PT. Hey, PT was wearing the flag for Atlanta, man. He was waving the flag for Atlanta before T.I. and Ludacris took over commercially. You know, T.I. Luda took over commercially and everything like that. But before that, it was Pastor Troy getting it out the mud. That was Pastor Troy calling up No Limit Studios. You know what I'm saying? Pastor Troy standing on the front line for Atlanta before anybody was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But 2002, yeah, Get Low, Lil Jon and East Side Boys. I think there's something that can contend with that. Um, think about Atlanta songs that came out 2002. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I think a Lil Jon song could compete with that. I mean, definitely maybe a Ludacris song. I don't know if Ludacris was hot in the city, but I don't know if he had best song in the city though. I mean, yeah, yeah, y'all let me know about that one. I'm a little funny about Get Low. Never Scared, Bone Crusher and T.I. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to fight that one. '03, that song had everybody in the chokehold. T.I. verse, Bone Crusher hook. Yeah, I think I mean everybody. I think that song when it came on, and even then, there may be some songs that can contend with it. I'm pretty sure there's some honorable mentions in there as well. Let me see these honorable mentions, man. Because first of all, we go back to the '90s. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys featuring Jazzy Faye, Shawty Freak a Little Something. Yeah, that's another one. T.I. 24s. Yeah, those see some honorable mentions in there that can actually compete with this list. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, I see why they're honorable mentions because they actually, yeah, Kilo and Big Boy, Love in Your Mouth. Yeah, some of these are honorable mentions. Yeah, you can actually debate some of these, man. Yeah, Young Bloods. Damn, I think that might have been '03, '04. Because Knuckle If You Buck. Yeah, I'm hard. Yeah, Knuckle If You Buck was definitely. Yeah, he said B.I.B.I. down there. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that Lil Jon, there was other Lil Jon songs that can compete with Get Low. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Yeah, there's some honorable mentions that could be debatable. Definitely, definitely. This is a tight list though, especially around that 2000. It really let you know how Atlanta was just coming. Atlanta was just bombing, one hit after the other. Because it started to get real blurry in the 2000s. 1990s, it was like, yeah, these are pretty much cut and dry. When you get into 2000s, it started getting real ambiguous. Ambiguous, yeah. 2005, I'm the man, shout low, yeah. That was another one. That was another banger in the club, though. I'm not going to deny it. That beat was another classic. Like I said, '05, you could have found a couple songs that can debate with that. I need the '90s and early thousands playlist off this list. Whole crisscross tag team, please. Hey man, tag team was getting them commercials, getting them commercial endorsements, man. Still getting commercial endorsements and stuff. That's crazy though. Yeah, 2005. Yeah, when 2000, yeah, this is real tight right here. We got Yin Yang Twins with Salt Shaker. I mean, that was a banger too, but I don't know if I would actually put put that in there. I mean, they got honorable mentions I can't put in there, but it's definitely worth mentioning. KP and Envy, Shawty Swing My Way. Yeah, man. Oh man, a little scrappy, no problems. That could have went for something. Yeah, I don't think it was gonna touch Knuckle If You Buck though. What you know about that T.I. in '06? Yeah, that's pretty much the song of the year at that point. And T.I. was at the tip of the top and the top of the game. And yeah, I can see that. '06. I'ma do me, Rocco. That was slapping in the club. Rocco was definitely that I'ma do me. Rocco was probably the banger for '07. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see that. Um, like I said, it's 2007. That's Atlanta at their peak. It's tough to kind of, oof, yeah. Yeah, lean with it, rock with it. Yeah, that's in the 2000s too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. They got Young Jock is going down as an honorable mention. Young Bloods. Ooh. Yeah, it's a pretty tough one, man. Yeah, it's pretty tough in the 2000s. 2008, OJ the Juice Man. Yeah. Make the trap say, hey, old brick, quarter brick. Yeah. Listen, yeah. Oh, okay, that was it. Yeah. Oh man, Zaytoven did magic with that one, man. Yeah, yeah. I'm not fighting with nobody about. I'm not fighting with '08. 2009 swag surfing. Listen, I know there's a couple of debatables in there. Swag surfing is probably as commercial as it gets, so I mean I get it. But yeah, that's a debatable one for me as well. I think there's some other definitely honorable mentions in '09. We got to revisit that one. Let me know how y'all feel about those. 'Cause '09, that's a little sketchy right there. Swag surfing is definitely one of them. Yeah. No hands, Waka with Roscoe Dash and Wale, absolutely. No hands, yeah. That came on in the club. Production was top notch. You know, the hook, yeah. 2011, yeah. Future broke on the scene with this one. Racks on Racks. That took the city on smash. Central Station was never the same again. Wasn't the same before either, but nevertheless. 2012, Bando, Migos. That's a tough one to debate, man. Cause okay, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, 2013. That's was one for me. Rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan. Type of way. That car I'm driving make you feel some type of way. Yeah, rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan. That was it. He had City on lock with that one. 24. Yeah. Auntie don't like the melodic rap. It's melodic rap. I heard all the terms from the mumble rap, the emo rap, melodic. I just call it melodic rap because it's a melody to it, so I'm gonna call it that. But yeah, I mean, type of way, lifestyle, Rich Homie, Young Thug, and Rich Homie Quan. I remember people spent months trying to break down what Young Thug was saying. Yeah, people spent months trying to figure out what Thug and Rich Homie Quan, Thugger was saying on lifestyle. 2015, Future, March Madness. Yeah, that's a tough candidate right there. I definitely pretty much agree with that. 2015 also had some other stuff coming out of Atlanta, but yeah, this was like, that period where Atlanta was still going. You had drill music, you had West Coast kind of reemerging as well, but Atlanta was still strong. 2016, absolutely hands down, Bad and Bougie. That was definitely the most top song, and everywhere. Metro, salute. Mask Off Future. Yep. Yeah, that was when 2017 to me was kind of like the absolute peak of Future. Mask Off, that beat was everywhere. Lil Baby and Drake in 2018. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Lil Baby's coming out party. Yeah, he definitely broke out in that time. That song right there was everywhere. Um, 2019, Hot Beat Thugger featuring Gunna. That's kind of gonna be debatable for me. Yeah, I'm not sure. I gotta look back on that one. I'll probably jump in my own comments and talk about and get back at that one. 'Cause 2019, that can't be the song. Might be, can't be though. 2020, Life is Good, Future and Drake. Yeah, I can't really debate that. That was a pretty good one. But especially yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Future from 2011 to now is still everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Life is Good, Future and Drake, Ski, Young Thug and Gunna, Pushing P, Gunna, Future, yeah, and Thugger. Yeah, a lot of YSL, Lil Baby, and Future in the 2010s. Mostly Future though, pretty much was everywhere though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Future has been all over the place, man. Like, yeah, Pluto, and crazy while he's up here is like I feel like a lot of people. There's a lot of discussions online about Future should be included in the big three with Drake and um Kendrick, and J. Cole. I don't think people understand the gag of the big three. All right, it's basically to exclude artists like Future because Future's in his own lane, and it kind of explains his popularity and why people still love Future for not being the prototypical throwback MC. You know what I mean? Like that big three to me was designated for artists that are considered lyrical, or you know what I mean, like the typical throwback MC where Future is kind of like leading the pack is like the melodic rap artist. And I think a lot of times people don't know what to categorize them as. So instead of categorizing them as one of the best artists in the game, they kind of just make a lane for them and just you know what I mean? Exactly. That's what the big three. That's the gag of the big threes for MCs. You know what I mean? Like it's not the it's the exclude Future. The Future can't be in the big three that it was built to exclude. You know what I mean? Yeah, these artists like Future and everybody else are a completely different lane. And it kind of just helps to explain their popularity. Future doesn't give a crap either. He just get yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like these standards and metrics of what's an MC or hip hop is so convoluted that you just make music and go with it. And whatever they put you as, they put you as. I mean, at the end of the day, Future's like, listen, one thing I always respect about Future is that he's actually a student of the game. You know what I mean? He got Dungeon Family pedigree. You know what I mean? He knows music. And he raps good enough. He raps enough to rap. You know what I mean? He can do the melodic stuff. He got the versatility. He got the components of making a song and everything like that. So I mean, it works. Yeah, the big issue of it is because Drake he floats off in between the lanes. Yeah, I mean Drake also makes the lanes convoluted, and I mean it started getting convoluted even back with Ja Rule started blending in a little more. Everybody wanted Ja Rule to do duets, and then 50 Cent started singing the hooks a little bit as well. And then finally, you just got a guy who can actually really sing an R&B song and then get on the track and actually rap too. So I mean, yeah, and then it all comes out in one blended sheet after Drake. Future is kind of a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? And even other artists as him, the Rod Waves. These are top streamed artists right now. NBA YoungBoy, top streamed artist, Rod Wave. You know what I mean? Gunners and Triple X Station, even after posthumously. You know what I mean? Like these are artists that all kind of drift into the melodic hip hop lane. You know what I mean? Just kind of sing and rap or rap and sing. And that's kind of where it fall. So as that hip hop evolution, you can see where Future came in high demand. And I mean, Future does a great hook. Like for artists that rap, like Future does a great hook. Like there's artists out here that can rap a whole bunch of bars and still can't make a hook. Future comes to the rescue a lot of times with a good hook. So, like I said, his contributions can be, limited, but they can be appreciated in the most critical fashion, especially with the beat selection he has. So, I mean, listen, but yeah, let me know how y'all feel about these Atlanta songs. Um, Let me know if this is pretty much accurate for the most part, if this is majority accurate, or if these are some entries that's not on here, if the honorable mentions stick out to you. If you got your own honorable mentions, you can feel free to drop them off in the chat while I'm live, or you can go on after the live and just jump in the comments and feel free to chime in as well. So any feedback is appreciated. Yeah, man. Future's definitely gonna give you a hook. You know what I mean? Future's definitely gonna give you a hook. He's one of the Mount Rushmores of hooks. If he's not right outside the Mount Rushmore, he's probably top five ever. I mean, he's always good for that. Like I said, student of the game. But yeah, those are just jumping on. Want to encourage you to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend. It's the Left Fresh Podcast. Uh, 10 o'clock nightly hip hop episode on Saturday nights. Like I said, if you're enjoying your weekend, want to talk and discuss or listen to some good content, or want to get tapped into stuff that you out of the loop on, man, this is the channel to do such on. Uh, Saturday nights, Wednesdays, the sports discussions on 9 p.m. But yeah, you can also find me on Instagram at This Is Left Fresh. You can also find me on TikTok at This Is Left Fresh. Like I said, tell a friend about it. It's going down. But yeah, moving on to the next topic. This is sad and tragic, to say the least. Hip hop community took a big loss the other day, losing mega producer Tay Keith at a very young age, 29 years old. Very tragic. Very talented producer. Was really making his mark across the mainstream industry. Voted, I want to believe, best producer in 2024. Across pretty much everywhere at that point. I mean, he's put in a lot of work, working with some of the heavy hitters in the game, some of the best artists, some of the best songs. Tay Keith from Memphis, Tennessee. Like I said, very talented artist. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Yeah, one good time, man. I mean, just gonna show up and gonna show up here and show our flowers to him and everything like that. Go back through his contributions and give my respects to his work as a producer. Like I said, he's brought so many songs to life for so many big names in the hip hop industry in the game. Some of the biggest ones, even regional to the mainstream. Um, Looking at how far he's come along until this point now, it's been a great go for him. I mean, he's pretty much connected on a lot of beats for a lot of artists. There's about at least 60 songs. 60 songs he's made beats for. And I mean, plenty of artists have benefited from his elevation with his work. I always feel like, when we discuss great albums, um, we don't discuss production enough. And it's critical because, we have these best rapper debates. And a lot of great rappers would be more mainstream recognized or would have more success if they picked better beats or if they had these type of producers who made, beats come to life with them. You know what I mean? And Tay Keith, like I said, once people got a hold of Tay Keith, they use them in heavy doses. They got heavy doses of Tay Keith's work. Um, a lot of people like working with him and getting beats from him. And like I said, he's brought a couple of people's catalogs to life. Let's start off in Memphis, though, right where he was based. This track right here even brought Drake along for the ride. You know what I mean? This is where Drake kind of felt like Drake took notice of Tay Keith, working with Block Boy JB on a feature, Look Alive. You know the song already. If you haven't, go ahead check it out. If not, I mean, go ahead check it out. Down south, good little, good instrumental to it. I mean, yeah, listen, it was a solid beat. Drake did the hook for it, did a verse. You know, Tennessee group, Tennessee based group. You know what I mean? I mean artist. I'm sorry, not group, but yeah. But this was a solid project right here for Tay Keith. Great beat that got everybody's ears to him and everything, especially with Drake on there. Um, he worked with Block Boy JB also as well on this track Shoot. This was big. This was a big track for them. They had to dance to go along with it. But yeah, Tay Keith did this beat as well. Yeah, everybody knows his signature right there. As soon as you hear that, it's like, yeah, he about to cook. He about to chef something up. But yeah, Look Alive and Shoot. That was that was down there in Memphis with Block Boy JB's artists is right there. Um, like I said, all over the place, was viral, had a dance and everything else to go with it. So yeah, great contributions getting it out the mud right there. And then working with Key Glock as well on certain tracks like Since Six. Like I said, staying in the Tennessee area right there. You got Drake on one track, but yeah, kept the movement, grinding in Tennessee. Definitely did great work with Key Glock. A lot of the reasons why I check out Key Glock is with beat selection. Him and Dolph, rest in peace, had a formula with beat selection and hooks. Talk a lot of flashy, trash talk stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that. Definitely with that. Um, yeah. So Key Glock, ill combination with Tay Keith, and then you had also other songs he did with him was Presidential Rose. That was also great track right here too on this album right here. Like I said, when I hear that Tay Keith on a Key Glock track, I know it's pretty much a good combination right there. Like I said, Block Boy JB made it work with him. And then Key Glock made it work with him. So yeah, he had Tennessee jumping. He had Tennessee jumping through this peak period for them during the Moneybag Yo, Young Dolph era and everything. Russian Cream. This right here on that Glock Bond album right here. Yeah, this was a hard beat too. Like I said, good combination. When they had that formula right here, when he got with the boys in Memphis and everything, even got Drake attention. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, right when he started working with Drake, you started seeing things turn a corner for him, like success wise and everything like that. Of course, like once you get that feature from Drake and you start getting them spins and everything like that, that's pretty much what happens. So then he starts venturing a little bit out of Memphis and he starts working with Lil Baby on Lil Baby's best album, in my opinion. My Turn. Yeah, this one right here was a hard beat. Him and Moneybag Yo. See, this era right here, when he was working with Moneybag Yo, and they were just linking up on all type of tracks. And then this combination right here, Moneybag Yo, Lil Baby, and Tay Keith. Yeah, it's hard to miss with that. That was a tough combination, especially in the early 2020s during that pandemic. Um, Another sleeper track that Tay Keith did the beat for. This right here, that Gucci track with Lil Durk. Yeah, I mean, when I first heard this collabo, I kind of I wasn't rushing to it. I was not rushing to it. But then I heard the beat and I'm like, hey, Tay Keith cooked on this one though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Tay Keith really cooked on him, man. And it's like, I was like, oh wow. So, it was kind of like a pleasant surprise on this track right here because I was not expecting the beat to be that good. I mean, and honestly, before Gucci had all this controversy and everything like that, he actually had a decent verse on this beat too. But yeah, Tay Keith, yeah, this is some of his best work you know, getting it out the mud and everything like that. And like I said, he started getting that real, commercial buzz, buzzing out, got past the regional area and started transcending into the mainstream. And then he started doing beats for songs like the second part of the Sicko Mode, Travis Scott, when the beat change up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Tay Keith was definitely making some great contributions. And like I said, he took off around this point. That late 2010s, early 2020s. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't deny Tay Keith. I mean, he's been in the zone ever since. You know what I mean? And then started making appearances on DJ Khaled albums. DJ Khaled started gathering everybody up like the Avengers. Needed that producer to make it come together. He got the hottest producer at the time, which is Tay Keith. And he did this track right here, It Ain't Safe with Nardo. And then he also did another beat with Lil Baby and Future and them on the same album as well. So yeah, Tay Keith did several beats on this DJ Khaled project right here. So like I said, you working with Travis Scott. You had Drake appearing on your beats and everything. And then you start really getting commercial buzz because you're working with more commercial artists like Lil Baby and everything at the peak of his career. And you know, next up, like I said, one dude that took notice to you first you start becoming one of his go-to producers, Drake. When you start working with Drake, you get under everybody's radar. You're on everybody's radar at this point. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. When you work with an artist as commercially successful as him, um, yeah, it's just work. Once you in the door like that, it's pretty much off and going from there. See him working with Drake again on this track, Jimmy Cooks. Well, first person shooter too. When you make the beat that pretty much if you make the beat for the track that pretty much starts the beef with Kendrick and Drake, yeah, you pretty much immortalized at this point. Like first person shooter was probably one of the original, declarations of war in that beef. And to be on the ground floor of that, I mean yeah, I mean you could say I made the beat that got this joint going. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to set it off. And then this beat right here, this beat right here probably might be one of my favorite Take Keep samples. That Play a Fly sample at the beginning. Yeah, listen, I'm partial to I'm partial to underground Memphis hip hop, so you know you can't go wrong sampling a good Play a Fly sample. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of objected to Drake using it because it's like, man, you ain't tapped, Drake, Drake ain't tapped in like that. But I mean, hey, listen, that's a big shout out to Play a Fly, man. Like this is a dude that you know it was another regional legend down south. Like I said, underground Memphis hip hop. But yeah, Drake and 21 Savage on Rich Flex, another Tay Keith, contribution on this one as well. Like I said, he worked his way up from, like I said, working with the Memphis artists, venturing out the rest of the South, and then working with the utmost recognizable hip hop artists in the game, and you become the go-to artist. You become a kind of a go-to for almost anybody else as well. A little bit of controversy in this one here, but one artist that you can almost say he pretty much catapulted strictly off his production, Sexy Red. He also made the beat to Pound Town as well, which is pretty much Sexy Red's biggest songs. Like pretty much, if you if you cannot stand Sexy Red, I know there's a lot of people that have a strong opinion about him, whether they like her or they don't, whatever you feel. One thing you cannot deny is it is production heavy. I mean, it's production heavy to the point where she doesn't really have to say much of anything other than a catchy hook. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? And you made it easy. You know what I mean? It's like when you got Tay Keith and then Tay Keith's signature. I mean, he's made some of his best beats for it too. But it's tough. There's a lot of controversy to it because there was an apparent legal litigation issue with Tay Keith and Sexy Red's, I believe, label. Not so much Sexy Red, but more or less the label over unpaid some payments or royalties, type of financial issues and everything. But there was a little bit of tension there, unfortunately, right before his passing. It was like a suit that was filed in March of 2026, just a couple months ago. So, it was unfortunate, but you know, really like for him to get. I really do think he deserves his compensation, his due compensation. I'm not sure if he do everything or not, but listen, he better not be getting shortchanged for those beats because he is carrying. He was carrying with it. So I mean, there's no reason. Yeah, you know what I mean. So like, he, when you making beats like that, that's pretty much carrying. You know what I'm saying? A track like that. That's the dirtiest to be. If you're not getting paid. So I pray. I hope that was. I hope he was getting compensated fairly, and if he's not, I hope there's some sort of retribution made, or eh, anybody's fighting for him on behalf of that. Because I mean, you cannot deny, that contribution. If you can't deny the contribution that Tay Keith elevating any other artist, you can definitely argue the contribution of him elevating Sexy Red. I mean, I couldn't imagine Sexy Red being as out there as she is without, that type of production. You know what I mean? Like her music is heavily production based. Like the production has to hit. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, there's some artists who are super lyrical and they can get by with a beat that's not that great. And then some artists, listen, that beat is pretty much carrying a lot of things. He executive produced the whole project. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see DJ Tay Keith sitting right up there in this project, right up there in "Sexy We Trust." Oh man, and then yeah, and this right here, he still, like I said, he still had he made Ski Yee. I mean, all the songs that you pretty much you see all the guys guilty pleasure dancing to when nobody's looking and everything. Those are his beats. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not listening to just the bars or anything like that. You're listening for the beats. But yeah, I mean, this one right here was kind of like, in the recent of his contributions, and it's kind of the biggest contributions because I mean, I can't think of an artist that he's elevated more than Sexy Red. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's kind of rough that you're going through a litigation suit and tragically passed like right after that. I mean, right in the middle of it, basically, while in the midst of it. So, I hope that gets resolved, or the family members and everybody, his estate gets um compensated fairly. I was watching JBP and the cast asked how she was getting all those great beats. Joe broke it down, was like she got to be signed to him in some kind of way. Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it as well because I mean there's got to be something more to a contract that was breached or something like that. I mean, she kind of broke into a major label deal, and it's usually always sketchy when an artist breaks into a major label deal because you're just trying to get them away from the label situation that they're already in, a la Stove God Cooks. So I mean, yeah, that's definitely seemed like it was something more to it than that. I mean, it definitely seemed like it was something along those lines. I mean, it's pretty shaky too. But yeah, man, that is. I mean, yeah, it's tragic loss in the hip hop community. I mean, like I said, he was making great contributions, getting a lot of notoriety, getting a lot of praise, a lot of accolades. Definitely was at the top of his game. I mean, top of his game is kind of an understatement. I mean, I feel like he was kind of just getting started. 29 years old, not even 30. I mean, you got producers well into their 50s, you know what I mean, still going, you know what I mean? Still making beats, still making songs that are in heavy demand. So yeah, it's definitely a tragic loss in the hip hop community this year. Year that had a few twists and turns as already. And as we hit to the summertime and everything like that, we're pretty much mourning the loss of a great contributor to the craft. So yeah, rest in peace to him and condolences and prayers to his family and loved ones and everything of that nature as well. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we'll come across another take Keith appreciation, flowers discussion throughout the course of the pod and the live. Could it be like rocking a future situation? That's pretty much like one of many. Oh yeah. Um, Pretty much any artist that kind of breaks into mainstream is kind of getting out of a situation that they're currently in, or trying to get to that next level. Is kind of getting out of a contract is usually one of those obstacles. I think Rocco and Future just a tad bit differently, being that And I'm not sure how independent Sexy Red was. Future and all of that, I'm not sure if she was really like independent first before she got started. I mean, everybody's kind of independent when they first get started, but I'm not sure how much of her deal was because a lot of independent artists have a variety of different type of deals and type of obligations. I'm not sure what type of terms she signed to, but it definitely feels like um wants to get paid for a little bit more than just beats though. You know what I mean? Like definitely seems like you executive produce an album. I mean, that's pretty much along the lines of that's your artist. So yeah, that definitely brings a smoke flag as well, especially in the lawsuit. I mean, it was just filed in March, so there wasn't a lot of details to it, and now he's tragically passed. So I mean, we'll see how the rest of it plays out along the way. I'll be kind of listening out for that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, rest in peace to Tay Keith. Like I said, his music and his contribution to hip hop won't be forgotten. Heavily appreciated. Like I said, one of the best producers of the 2020s, hands down. Like I said, I didn't say the best, but I'm definitely saying one of the best. He's all over the place to deny, and he's had too many quality type of beats along the way. So yeah, rest in peace to him, definitely. But last topics for the night. Moving on to some hip hop releases. Before I go into that, just like I said, I want to encourage you all to like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend. Like I said, you can find me on Instagram, and this is Left Fresh. You can find me on TikTok, and this is Left Fresh. Last topic, got some new releases, fairly new. One came out last Friday, one came out just yesterday, two came out just yesterday. This one was more of an EP, not an LP. The Alchemist, one of the great producers of the 2020s, particularly on the East Coast, dropped Liquid Form yesterday. It was four song EP. The instrumentals to the four songs making up 8 tracks altogether. If you look at the first one, got Gutter Pain featuring Cool G Rap. Cool G delivered one of his usual, typical, timeless verses. Great wordplay, great. Um, just like I said, doing his thing with the words. Yeah, Bing, you almost beat me to it, man. You just beat me to it. Two Chains beat like a key. Two Chains did his thing on that one, riding the beat. He had some great. He had a great selection of 4 artists. Like I said, Cool G Rap, Two Chains, Conway the Machine, and Boldy James. Artists that he's worked with on numerous occasions. Um, we all know Cool G Rap classic verse on Realist, Mobb Deep. That's back in the 90s. Even now, 2026, 30 years later, they're still connecting. Well, gotta give an honest opinion. Uncle Al, uh, I like them, but it was a little too much relaxed. And I felt the warning signs from Bing. If you remember going back to Larry June and Currency's album, Spiral Staircases, yeah, we've seen the symptoms of it up to this point. So I was not surprised that this one kind of felt a little bit more like elevator music than anything else. Uh, Uncle Al's a little bit too relaxed. I know he can give you an up tempo track. I know he can give you something more livelier, but I think the last couple projects have gotten a little more, drowsier and drowsier. I mean, like I said, it's still smooth, but yeah, there was a lot of symptoms that it's just getting real drag and it's real dragging it. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Um, Not surprising because he's kind of fallen into the trap of another producer that's stretching himself too thin. That's DJ Premier. Yeah, Uncle Al and DJ Premier are stretching themselves way too thin. They still come up with a good beat here and there. I'm not saying they're not legendary producers. They still go here and there. They stretch themselves too thin. Like last year, DJ Premier, it was too much Premier, and he stretched himself too thin. By the time we got to Nas' album, it was like, oh yeah, he's out of gas. I think our OGs are not used to this streaming era of flooding the market. Yeah, yeah. Him and Primo, they're not used to this type of flooding the market, like in the streaming era. They used to just dropping a flood of gems, chill for about a couple, take a break, take a breather, and then get back another year. Like in the 90s and 2000s, they'll drop that heat. That Primo will give you that hard classic sample, kind of just bounce around sporadically, give you heat and everything. Alchemist, same thing. They kind of just they pick their spots throughout the time. This wave of just flooding. Yeah, Primo that ransom album too. Yeah. And then one thing about ransom, I love Ram, but sometimes beat selection. I think he felt like him and anything in Primo could do wouldn't miss. Like, Primo, I think you kind of on the assumption that, anything Primo does can't miss. But in reality, yeah, he's just kind of wearing himself thin. You got to pick your spots. Yeah, and like that Nas and Premier one too. I mean, it was like you had one and two that can hit, but it was the rest of them was just like, yeah, it's kind of it's the case. It's the same case with Al. He's just wearing himself too thin. As like I said, I think the streaming era is just kind of like I think they used to just picking their spots, and now they just flooding it with everything they can just flood it with. Yeah, Primo and Rock Marcy. Yeah, yeah. We still got Elephant Man Bones, but I mean, I think it's been a long run too. Like I said, I gotta come back on another episode and strategize a 2010s revisiting because, like I said, that underground renaissance in the 2010s um was a real deep one, and I feel like a lot of people kind of just by the time people realized there's this underground wave of hip hop out here, it was like they missed about 5 or 6 years of it. I mean, you can go back to Griselda about maybe 10 years now, and I think a lot of people were kind of sleeping on those years. Like 2016, 2017, Griselda, people slept on. I mean, a lot of people have been riding with it from the beginning, but I think a lot of people caught on to Griselda a little later on. So like a lot of Alchemist work, a lot of Boldy work. A lot of these guys been doing it for years. You know what I mean? Like a long run and flying under the radar doing it. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, Alchemist, it was a short project, short EP. Hopefully take a rest and you know what I'm saying? Exactly, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like that. We got to revisit that 2010s. That late from 2015 to 2020. I think there was like a dope wave of hip hop that came out under the radar. And I think everybody was kind of like, is it just Drake and everybody else? Is it Drake in Atlanta? Is it just Drake and drill rap? And it's like at the same time, I think a lot of underground hip hop was just like firing off on all cylinders. And then everybody realized, oh, wait a minute, what's going on underground? It's like 2021, 2022. And, you know, we got to get retroactive with the underground renaissance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But yeah, that was DJ Alchemist. Uh, dropped something on Friday, a little something for everybody. Like I said, I like the verses. I thought Conway's verse was dope. I thought Two Chains had a great delivery on there. Um, Boldy was good. Coochie, yeah, everybody was pretty good. I just thought Alchemist, beats kind of dragged a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I said, I appreciate the sounds and the instruments and everything, but it used to be a balance, a little bit of up tempo type of stuff, and maybe just Uncle Al just a little everywhere. Maybe you just take a breather. But before I go into the next one released yesterday, I'm gonna go back officially 2 weeks ago. Not yesterday, but the Friday before. Another edition from Detroit underground artist Mickey Diamond. Another edition of him and Big Ghost LTD. They dropped one earlier this year as well. That was pretty good. This one right here was not bad at all. It picked up towards the last couple of tracks as well. I thought this was a pretty solid, follow up, especially in the second one in the year. Mickey Diamond's a dope lyricist, dope wordplay. He got a voice like he's talking to you like an evil villain. You know what I mean? But his voice is, it's a super deep voice. Like I said, almost like an evil villain, like it's altered almost. Like he's like, this is really his voice, but it's a real deep voice, and he be spitting though. That's what it really come down to. Homeboy got bars though. Detroit, Michigan, hardcore gangster rapper dude. But as far as content go, but I mean, he got creativity, he's clever punchlines are there. Like I said, Big Ghost comes with the dark beats and the samples. Um, especially on Lamb's Blood, number 11. Holy Water, Lamb's Blood, tracks 10 through 11 was dope. Number 5, Communion. Mickey gave you some dope bars there. Number 7, Collection Plates, Worm Boy. Yeah, it was some dope tracks. You know what I mean? He kind of got into this religious bag and everything with bars and everything as far as content, but he gave you some deep stuff too. But yeah, Mickey was actually, typical lyricist. Like I said, Detroit, Michigan product. Um, He's been working on, he done a lot of work. If you go back through his you search him up on whatever music platform you listen to, search his work up with Big Ghost. He's got a couple of projects throughout the years, going all the way back to like 2021, 2022. He's Gucci Ghost editions and everything like that. He's always working with Big Ghost. He's worked with other producers as well. He hasn't always worked with Big Ghost, but typically when they do, it's a pretty good combination. Get that dark hip hop, hardcore hip hop that many of the old heads listened on to back in the 90s and everything. Kind of like a throwback MC right here, something that you want to listen to. If you don't want to get into the melodic rap, you just want to get into some straight bars with some hard beats. Mickey Diamond, Big Ghost, I can highly recommend to you. Pick your spots, pick your songs off of there. I mean, he's got a lot of extensive work, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, definitely select this one. And last, another dope Detroit-based artist, extension of Griselda, one of the hardest working underground artists ever, Boldy James. Another project for this year. This is officially his fourth project in the 6th month of the year. He's done joint projects with Ransom and Nicholas Craven. He worked with Boldy James and Rome Streets. He's worked with Rome Streets. And he had a project that just came out in March on his own with a different production as well. But this one right here is back with Nicholas Craven, sample, another sample, highly sampled based album, a bunch of samples all over the place. Big saying it wasn't it. Yeah, I mean, this is another one who can kind of wear himself kind of thin. Um, I like the sample on Summer's Eve and Mama Maxine. I definitely like the sample on I like the first two, Mama Maxine and Summer's Eve. Those samples right there were definitely the hardest. I do think that Nicholas Craven got a little too happy with the samples. Um, Bodie has a very monotone delivery, and when you have samples that are like all throughout the record, no breaking the samples. I mean, each bar has the sample. You don't take the bar. I mean, you don't take the sample out the bar not once. And it kind of overclouds his rapping. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just you just threw the sample in there. You didn't really do anything. Like I felt the sampling was good with number one and two. Definitely. Summer's Eve and Mama Maxine, those are probably the two singles I'm gonna take from this album right here. Um, Don't Tell Me with Trinidadian and James. That was a pretty decent one. Um, but yeah, False Accusations, that wasn't one for me that I would probably revisit. I mean, that sample was just annoying. Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, the sampling was just, not this one. Yeah, features will all be. And Bodie used the same monotone flow. One thing that's promised: Def, Taxes, and Bodie's flow. That's going to be constant. I can learn to live with Bodie's flow as long as the production as long as the production can actually do something with it. As long as he can find production, that he can make production work for it. That's the thing. It's just that when you got Nicholas Craven, it's these hit or miss beats. When you got hit or miss Nicholas Craven beats, it's gonna sound good, bad, and ugly. This one right here is pretty mid because of the production. It's just that high would probably be one and two. Those are probably the two songs I take from it. The thing with Boldy is that when you flood the market like that, you kind of just take your songs in small doses. You take your singles off each album and just kind of throw it on a playlist and go. Um, I can't honestly say that I can make it through this entire album like twice or just listening it straight through. Probably just take two singles and just go with it, two or three singles. Luckily for Bodie, he makes so many albums that you can get two, three, four singles off of each album and have a complete album for the whole year. So he used the even though we do. Oh yeah. And then me, that's disrespectful. You can't use the even though what we do is wrong sample, and you got to do justice. You got to put some real work, and some real clever into it. You know what I mean? It can't be, like I said, he didn't even take the sample out in some parts. Some parts you got to take the sample out. That way you can let the artist rap and then let the sample come back in. Like the sample was supposed to be every couple of bars, not every bar. Like I said, you can't just have a super sample laced album, and that's kind of my drawback from it. Like I said, Bodie spit. I mean, the bars is gonna be there. Bodie's consistent with his writing. Like his writing is always gonna be his strong point. The monotone flow, it can take some people away. It can steer people away. If you're somebody I can't get into the monotone flow, if I can't get around it, it can definitely take people away. But me personally, I can get around it, listen to some bars, especially if the beat is good. I think the actual irony of Boldy James when you got a slow monotone flow is that Boldy has to actually have a fast beat. You know what I mean? Like I think Boldy sounds a lot better on beats that got a fast tempo to it. Like, don't get the slow dragging sample lace beat. Get the fast, get an up tempo beat. He did an album back in 2025, just 2 years ago, just last year in March, with Ant Beats, and all the beats were up tempo, like up tempo, like almost trap beats, and he it sounded great on it. That's kind of the same thing with Larry June. When Larry June works on beats that are like too slow, kind of drags. But when Larry June is on beats that got some tempo to it, it's like, hey, you know, the slow flow on a fast beat kind of actually makes a good formula. So, I mean, it's kind of weird how it works, but it works sometimes. I mean, but yeah, that would be my suggestion. But yeah, I think Nicholas Craven and Boldy, they usually make a good combination when it hits, but it's some misses. Same thing with kind of with Mickey Diamond and Big Ghost is that, when it hits, it hits. When it misses, it misses. Like I said, you're in an era now where you have so much volume of hip hop where if an album doesn't really deliver, you got about 2, 3 songs you could throw on a playlist, and you got about 6 albums that came out that year. So you pretty much got a full album one way or the other. So that's one thing about flooding the market with a bunch of work. There, Larry June beats with Cardo. Yeah, I like him. I like Cardo and Larry June better than I like Larry June and Alchemist. I think a lot of people rush to hear Alchemist and Larry June, but me, when I see Larry June and Cardo, that's what I'm here for all day. I think Cardo has that natural bass sound that fits Larry June a lot better. DJ Fresh as well. Man, we living in the playlist era. Hey, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Listen, when you see artists dropping 6, 7, 8 song albums a year, and you just kind of picking and choosing what songs you can make it through. Yeah, you just kind of just throwing together playlists and just being creative with the themes. That's my next act. I'm gonna be putting links to my playlists on my page. You all can check them out, see how you like them. Tell me what I need. Tell me your own playlist you got too as well. That's gonna be my next challenge. With the hip hop part of this channel is my playlist. You're gonna see my playlist at work. Hopefully, I put you on to some new music, tap you all in. Hopefully, you got some suggestions, or you can put me on to some stuff too. I mean, I tend to keep my ear out for everything, from all errors and everything as well. But yeah, I appreciate you all jumping on with me, and that's my time for the evening, everyone. Hope you all enjoy your weekend. Hope you all enjoy the beginning of next week. I'll be back at you on Hump Day, Wednesday, 9 o'clock p.m. talking sports. And I'll be back Saturday at 10 p.m. talking more hip hop. Got more stuff lined up. Like I said, once again, rest in peace, Tay Keith. Going back through your catalog and appreciate your contributions to the game. And we're gonna miss you, man. Um, like I said, prayers and condolences to his family, um, family, friends, loved ones, and everything like that. And most certainly, Bing and everyone else out there, you all have a happy Father's Day as well. Thank you all to myself as well. For everyone wishing me a happy Father's Day, thank you. I'm gonna be sitting back with my tribe, chilling, enjoying my rest for work and everything like that to get back to it and give you all more content. Like I said, you can find me on Instagram at This Is Left Fresh. You can find me on TikTok at This Is Left Fresh. And this is it for tonight. You all have a great one. Peace.